Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. Let's throw this. I have to throw this on live scene before I get into the game. I ran across, well, Foundry's been on my Steam wish list for a while. I've had my eye on this game for a while. And I finally said to heck with it. And I spent a couple bucks last night. And I bought into the early alpha. So this is not yet available on Steam. I bought into the early alpha. It is version 0.3.0.16. Don't know how long before it's going to go into beta. I haven't really jumped into the dev blogs or follow them on Discord. I haven't joined their Discord. I'm going to do all of that eventually. I went and I played around with it for about an hour yesterday just to get a feel for the controls and the building elements. And I went into the settings. The only thing I did was I turned the music completely off and I turned all of the sounds down. We're going to jump into a new game. I found a decent. I was playing around with about 8 or 10 different starting areas just to find a decent start. So let's go 141 814 7123. Seemed like it was a pretty decent starting area. So let's jump in here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking the first game day because there's a couple things we have to get done before it gets dark. So it dumps you in here. It gives you an information database. It says with this information database you'll find new detailed explanations on how to create a thriving space factories. Please take a quick look at our quick start page. It's short and provides you with the most important information to get you started. So if you go to the quick start, as you unlock more things, more and more comes into the quick start. So it tells you how to mine, tells you how to craft, tells you how to your construction, your demolition. So it's a little bit of a tutorial. And like I said, they add more to it the more you unlock, and then it gives you some advanced tips like building modules and instant builds and upgrades to machinery. So you can read through that. Our first task is up in the top right corner. Is we have to mine 150 Xeno Ferrite, which is brown ore, and 150 technium, which is a blue ore. For now, I'll go over all the stuff in the bottom right-hand corner here in a minute. So our orange little dot right behind us is the Xeno Ferrite. The blue dot is the technium ore. So we need 150 of each. So that looks like it's right here behind us. So right here is our. Now if you bring up your tablet, which is Q. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I don't have it yet. There's a tablet mode that you can bring up. Maybe we haven't unlocked it yet. So anyway, come here. There's these quick nodes on top of the main ore to get you started. Now once these are gone, these do not respawn. So what you want to do is you want to grab all of these nodes on top of the ore. Now let me know how the sound is. If it's too loud, I can turn it down some more. Yeah, it probably is a little bit loud. So let's come in here. Let's go to settings. Let's go to audio. Let's bring that down a little bit more. And then we can take it down even more if we need to. Come on, it's not going to give me that one. Yeah. So spacebar to jump up a level. This game reminds me of a combination of Factorio and Eco. Now once your quick nodes are gone, you can mine, but it is very, very slow to get one ore. So now that we gathered our Ferrite, let's find our, so pretty much straight ahead. And as we walk over there, I'm going to grab some biomass, because this is early game fuel. And we'll clear a path between the two ores. And like every other factory building automation game, it's a grind at first. Everything is done by hand. We still headed in the right direction. We are still headed in the right direction. So let's continue to get rid of some trees on the way. We're going to have to eventually open up this entire area for manufacturing, for automation. Let's see, we still head in the right direction, a little bit more to the left. And over this way, so let's get rid of this tree for now. And then we'll come over here. Alright, now the blue is our technium. So again, we're just going to take all of the quick nodes to get us started. And it's automatically putting it into your inventory. So nothing to pick up. So it finished that quest, and it jumped us on to the next one. So what I want to pick up all these quick nodes, because we're going to need every bit of it, and then some. Just to get our early game equipment built. Sometimes it doesn't land quite on the ore. It is early alpha, but I haven't ran into anything major. Let's get this tree out of our way. Alright, what do we have left? A couple more of the quick nodes. Just grab the rest of them. One more. Alright, so it should clean up all of our quick nodes. We'll grab this one, biomass. Alright, so the next task is to craft a primitive furnace. Now, what I want to do is I want to set my primitive furnace up. We're going to do a lot of hand crafting at first. So I want to get about halfway between the two. And because we're going to be running back and forth for ore for a little bit. So I want to get our first little bit of automation like right here. Alright, so it's going to craft a primitive furnace. So C for crafting, primitive furnace, 10 xenophyte ore, 10 technium ore. So let's craft that, bottom right, left hand corner. It builds all the individual components first. Like this one needs plates and parts and components. Once we get to that, it'll build all the individual parts and then build the main component. Alright, so we'll turn off crafting. We have it built, so let's open up our crafting menu, and we're going to drag it down to our hotbar. Actually, I don't want that one on my hotbar. We're only going to build one of them. So I think it's right click, turn off no, maybe it's left click. Right click. No. R to rotate, And then the panel, doesn't matter on this one where you put the panel. This one's only our little first bit before we start our automation. Now you have configure primitive furnace. You can shut it down. You can reset the task if you have it on one recipe and you need a second recipe. The little arrow down is a quick button to put product in. The up arrow is a quick button to pull product out. And then the middle is to manage your inventory. So we're going to configure. So it wants us to craft 40 Xeno Ferrite plates and 20 technium rods. So let's go Xeno Ferrite plates. It's missing fuel. So let's throw some fuel in. Manage inventory. That biomass we were collecting, I'm going to drop 100 of them in there. And then if you click this one, it's going to automatically put 100 of the ore in there for us. So we're going to let that burn through the first 100, and then we're going to continue to collect biomass and give us a little space to set up our first bit of automation. You can terraform by digging up the dirt and moving it around. So while we do we're going to be doing a lot of this while we do our initial handcrafting. I didn't name this save, so it's going to do auto saves. Alright, so let's come back here. Let's check on this. It's still burning through. There's 22 left. So we'll just wait for that to burn through. While we're waiting for that, let me hit escape. Let's do a save. Let's actually name this Season 1. We'll do a save. Alright, so now let's go. Let's grab our inventory out. Let's reset the task. Let's go to our technium rods because that's what it wants us to do next. We still have plenty of fuel in there. So if we just hit insert, it's automatically going to pull the ore out for the recipe that you need out of your backpack. So we'll just wait for all 100 of those ores. While we're waiting, let's go back to our drill. Clear an area out between our two ore piles. It's not the greatest, but L toggles on a flashlight. You don't want to wander too far away from that at first. So if you go to the map, you're pretty much going to have to remember where you are at first until you start getting automation. So right now, where that little blue dot is our primitive furnace. So if you get yourself lost at night, you're going to have to find your way back. Let's see if we are, yeah, so we're clearing out a pretty good area between our two resource deposits. So unfortunately we're going to be doing a lot of this at first. Where's the control panel? Alright, so I've learned by a little bit that I played, you need a lot more of these Xeno Ferrite plates than you do the technium rods, but I'm gonna pull those out. We took the 50 out. Let's reset this. Let's go back to the plates. And we're going to keep this running. And then the next thing is to craft 20 building blocks, place 20 building blocks as a foundation next to an ore deposit. So 20 building blocks. We open our crafting menu. Building blocks are down here. It's automatically going to craft us the Xeno Ferrite plates and the technium rods, and then it's going to craft us the building blocks. So if you click once, you're going to get 5 at a time. So put 5 in our inventory, we need 20, so I'm going to click 3 more times. If you right click, it'll queue up 5 at a time, so 5 times 5, it would have queued up 25. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it did not build those plates and rods, we had them in our inventory. So I do apologize for that. So we have our, now it wants us to put our 20 blocks down. I'm going to grab, we can make 4 more stacks. I'm going to grab 1 more stack just in case. Now again, you're going to see some little errors. It's early alpha. Before we walk away, I'm going to grab the 41 more out. I'm going to throw some more ore in so it's back up to 100. Now it wants us to, we're going to go to the, where's my inventory? We're going to go to the Xeno Ferrite first, because you make more of those than you do the technium rods. So a little bit to our left and forward. Is our, alright, so this is our, what is it, Xeno Ferrite? Xeno Ferrite. Now what I might do is I may dig down, no, because we're going to have to come conveyor belt up eventually. Alright, let's go. Yeah, we're going to conveyor belt up. Let's get rid of some of this dirt so we can have a little bit of room. I'm going to go down 1 layer, and that'll give us room to put our blocks down. And it's going to put a little bit of dirt in our inventory. We can either destroy it, or we can save it to fill holes back in. But we're going to need a platform to start on. And we're going to need room for our little drones. To fly around. Now we could have put our base on top of this, but our base is going to be 1 block tall. Alright, let's see if that's enough to get us started. So we're going to need, let's come over here. Now that we have those building blocks, when we go to crafting, we're going to use a lot of these. Oh, where did they go? I swear I built, though, our platform. Did we build? Oh, the building blocks, right there. I'm completely blind. We're going to throw them in hotbar number 2. Now, as soon as you do this, again, it's going to add to your database information, so every time you do something new or you go to the next part of the quest, it's going to give you more information. So building parts and energy. Most machinery, like drones and assemblers, need to be placed on a foundation made from building parts to function. Building parts supply connected machinery with power on a low voltage power grid. Certain machinery needs to be supplied with high voltage power. More about this later. So the high voltage power comes later in the quest line. Both the requirements for the foundation and or high voltage connections as stated in the respective tooltip. So basically, every building you need has to be connected to a power grid, and the power grid is automatically transferred in the building blocks. So click and drag. It puts the building blocks down, and we're going to have to build some more. But you're going to need a ton of these. So let's go back into our crafting menu. Let's just queue up another 50. While we're waiting on that, let's go back to our miner. Or not our miner, our primitive furnace. And let's grab out the 52 blocks or the 52 plates it has in there. Let's reset this. Let's build some more rods. We still have 90 fuel in there. So let's get a load of rods built. We'll head back over this way. And where the heck is my... Oh, I am way off. Other direction. Over this way. Right, even with the flashlight at night, it's a little bit tough to see. Let's throw some more blocks down. And let's fill in. For now, let's fill in this gap. Do I not have any more? I probably do not have any more. Oh, we do. We should have a few left. Sometimes the placement gets a little bit weird until you get used to the controls. Sometimes you have to stand in a certain spot. And I don't have enough made. Alright, let's do that for now. This gives us a little bit of a platform to work on. So it wants us to craft a drone miner and build it onto the foundation. So, crafting drone miner. Now this one's automatically going to make the machinery parts and the electronic components. So let's grab one of those. I'll leave the crafting menu open because we're going to have drag it on our hotbar. Let's take the drone, we'll throw it on our hotbar, we'll use number 3. Now it has a panel, and it also tells you how many blocks it's in range of. So if I put it there, it's within in range of 62 blocks. And it has to be, all 4 squares has to be on the power grid. So over here it's in 56 blocks. I'm actually going to throw it... Do I want to put it... No, let's put it 48 blocks. Let's put it here. Now, these little squares on the coming out of the base are input and output ports that we'll use here in a minute. Let me get rid of this tree. And then we're probably going to end up putting more of these foundations down. Now, it's telling us that there's no power, so it cannot operate. So the next task, it's telling us to craft a biomass generator and put the biomass generator on the power grid. Now I want to leave room to bring belts and stuff out. So I think I'm going to put our biomass generator down here out of the way for now. So let's go to craft. Biomass generator, we're out of zero ferrite plates. So again, you're going to be doing a ton of hand crafting and running back and forth to this portable furnace until we get everything that we need. So let's grab those. We'll manage the inventory. Nope. We will reset the task. We'll configure it back to the plates. We still have 87 fuel. So So let's throw those in there. And we're just going to wait for some of these. While we're waiting for some of these to build, we will clear out some more trees. It'll give us more biomass. We're going to need it for all of our burners at first until we go to solar. So y'all know it's a hand grind at first on these factory automation games. Alright, so let's head back over here. We're gonna, like, see it. We saved this dirt. Now we can fill this hole in. So if I go to crafting, I could take that dirt. I don't want to put it on this hotbar. You can, if you tab, you can switch to different hotbars. I'm going to go to hotbar 3. I'm going to throw the dirt into a number 1 slot, and then I'm just going to fill in this area so we don't fall in ourselves into the hole. So let's head back over here. We're getting there. So let's go back to hotbar 1, which is tab. Let's grab our plates. We'll throw in some more ore. We're almost out of the ore. So where are we headed? Over this way. Alright, so now it wanted us to build the biomass generator. So back into crafting, we can build, let's build 1. Alright, so let's throw it on slot number 4. And then we're going to throw it here, but I'm going to rotate the panel this way. Alright, so it still says there's no power. This still says there's no power. All that biomass we've been collecting, you just hit the little input, it automatically pulls it out of our inventory. And then our little drones are going to come over here. These guys are so cute. They're going to go in here, they're going to start mining our ore. And they're going to drop it into here until it hits 100, and then it's going to fill up and shut down. So that is our first primitive mining. Alright, so it wants us to craft an assembler, 2 loaders, 20 conveyors, and an assembler on this foundation. So I'm going to clear out, let's clear out 1 more row for now. And then we'll see how much more space we're going to need. You're going to end up building these power grid foundations. You're going to end up with like thousands of them across your entire base. And this is we're going to actually probably automate these early, even if we don't get a quest for it. So let's throw down, let's get out of there. Let us, I don't know how to turn that dev console off with the error codes. Let me just do a quick settings, gameplay. Is there like a dev console? Cannot be changed while in game. Okay, so I'll get rid of that after I save. Let's craft a couple more of these foundations. It also wants us to craft an assembler. We have enough material, so let's craft the assembler. going to want 2 loaders, but we're out of materials. So we'll have to run back to our primitive furnace again. But let's throw down some more of our base. So we crafted the assembler. It wants to craft us 2 loaders. 2 loaders were out of material, which is machinery. It can't make them electronic components. It can't because it needs more technium rods. So back to the good old primitive furnace. Let's grab those out. Let's reset the task. Back to the rods. We still have 84 fuel. Let's throw in those components. It automatically throws the ore. Now, how much more ore do we have left in inventory? We only have some technium left in our inventory. Let's grab those 10. Now, can we craft? We can craft 2 loaders, so let's queue those up. And then it wants us to craft 20 conveyors. We can only do 12. I think, oh, they're times 2. So let's go, let's right click and see what it gives us. Oh, so it's going to give me 10 when I right click. Let's grab another 10. That'll fulfill our quest. Alright, let's head back to our platform. Alright, so it wants us to put down an assembler. Now, what I'm going to do is, I want to take out, and you'll see here why in a minute. The assemblers are 3x3, and then you need room to attach components to it. So I'm probably going to put in one more row. Alright, so let's throw the assembler down. So craft, I'm going to take the assembler. I'm going to put this one on my hotbar, so it'll be slot 5. Another info database comes up. So it's going to tell you that any machinery has to be connected to a loader to output. And then you can have any amount of belts in between. Then you need another loader to input products into your next machine. So I will show you this in a minute. This, again, like I said, takes up quite a bit of room. I want the control panel. The control panel is facing away from me. I'm going to leave it there for now. Now, the next quest is it wants us to build a research lab. What it's not showing you is I did not leave enough room here to make our connections. So what I'm going to do is if you go into your little, go to an empty slot, and if you look, you can push Z for demolition, and you don't lose any materials. It puts us right back in. It puts it right back into our inventory. I need a little bit more room, so we're going to drill out at least 3 more rows. And we're going to build some more of those foundations. And do I want to go another layer? Let's go one more layer. And then I'll take some more out eventually because we're going to need room for conveyors. Now what I could do to save some cost, I can pull some of these up, but we're going to end up with a whole ton of assemblers on here. So we have some more bases. So let's go to hotkey number 2, and let's just fill this in. Now I'm going to go back to 5. I'm going to put my assembler down, but I'm going to leave a couple of spaces. But the whole thing has to be on the platform, or it's going to tell you it's not connected to the power network. And now now again, there's ports coming out on all the sides for your conveyors. Let's throw in one more row of power grid. And now let's grab let's go to the crafting menu. We're going to bring down the loader. We're going to throw it in slot 6. We're going to bring down the conveyor belts. We're going to throw it in slot 7. Turn off the crafting menu. This is full of ore. It's got 100 in there. I'm going to grab it. This way our miners can go back to work. So they're back off and running. I'm going to grab those out of there as well. So let's go to number 6. This has to be on the power grid. We're going to rotate it. I'm going to go back 1 slot. I'm going to throw it there. I'm going to rotate this one, and we're going to throw it there. We're going to take our belts, which is number 7, and your belts have a little arrow, which are hard to see sometimes. That's the wrong direction, so I'm going to rotate it, because we want our ore coming from there, going into our assembler. So that's saying output, this is saying input. You can switch them by just a toggle. So I can't see it on the conveyor belt because I didn't leave a gap in between, but we now have ore going directly into this machine. Let's throw one more block in that hole, if I have one. I may have to fill. Let me jump up here. Can I throw a block in that one hole? I can. Alright, so now let's come down here. It's connected to the power grid. We have to set our configuration. We are mining, I think this is Xeno Ferrite. So let's set this up to make our plates. Now it's connected to the power grid because we have the biomass generator touching the floor, and the floor automatically generates electricity to everything touching it. So this is now making our plate. So this is our first little bit of real automation. So before we build a research lab, which is our next task, we are actually going to duplicate this same setup with our other ore. So there's 13 plates in here. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to grab them. I'm going to come over here. We're going to take out the 39 rods that are in there. I'm going to pop in some more ore. That's going to make us handcraft some rods. Alright, so over here we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to dig out an area for us to put our platform on. And we'll get our little miners going. And eventually eventually when we can craft storage chests, after we research them, we'll throw the dirt in a storage chest. We'll be doing a lot of terraforming. So you're going to end up with a ton of dirt in your inventory. Let's go like 2 more rows. That should get us a little bit of a base started. We only have 11 bases. Go back to our crafting menu. Let's right click. I can only build a few. And we're going to need more of the rods. So let's come back to our primitive miner. Let's grab the rods that are there. We'll throw in any more ore that we have. So we still have some more ore on us, and we're going to come over here and we're going to grab whatever plates it has made, which is 46. A lot of handcrafting them back and forth at first. Alright, let's open up crafting. I'm going to grab a couple more of the bases. Let's go to hotkey number 2. And let's start filling this in. Let's fill this in. Do I not have any? I only have one block. So let's craft some more. And then we're going to need, we'll fill that little hole in here in a minute when I can craft some more. Alright, so we are going to craft another drone miner, which we're going to need a lot more rods and a lot more plates. How much raw ore do I still have in inventory? We still have some raw ore in inventory, so let's grab those rods. So that's the last of the raw ore for the rods we have in our inventory. Since we're here, let's grab the plates. So it'll give us a few more plates. Let's see if we have enough to build a miner, and we're going to need a biomass generator for this power grid because they're not connected. Now if we ran these plates over to the other miner, then the power would be connected. Let's build one more drone. And we don't have enough for an assembly, so we're going to need more rods. And let's grab one more biomass generator. So if we go to hotbar 3, it's going to give us our drones. And which way do I want the panel? Let's throw the panel facing away from us for now. And then let's come over here to this, let's come over here to this one little odd square, and we'll throw down our biomass generator. We'll hit the little input. It's going to pull 100 biomass out of our inventory, and then these little drones, this should power this up, and then these little drones are going to start mining our second ore for us. So again, we're going to need a assembly machine. We're going to need 2 more loaders and an assembly machine, but we don't have any more rods. So let's run back over here. Oop, and I walk right past the panel. Let's grab what rods we have. Now we don't have any more raw ore to make any more, so we're going to have to probably steal some ore from our miner, drop it back in there. So we're going to have to handcraft a little bit of these for a little while. So let's grab the 48 ore. Let's throw the 48 ore in there, and we're going to handcraft some more rods. We can only do 1 loader. We still cannot do the assembler. We're probably out of plates, so let's go grab our plates. So we have 50. Let's grab those. Let's grab the 12 rods it has made. Now let me get away from that. So let's craft the assembler and 2 loaders. Now I think I want to go. Can we craft some more? We can. I'm going to craft a couple more foundations. Let's give ourselves a couple more squares to work on. We're going to need room for loaders and belts. And eventually we'll have like 3 miners or 4 miners and 5 or 6 assemblers over here. And all kind of belts, and it becomes spaghetti just like Factorio. Alright, let's see if we can't fill this hole in. Let's go back to hotkey number 2. And then I'm out of... That gives us enough to get us started. So let's grab our assembler, which is hotkey 5. And I want to be at least 1, 2, 3 of... Yeah, like 5 spaces in between are ideal. Let's turn the panel away from us so it's on that side. So let's grab hotkey 6, which is our loader. Let's throw it there. And let's throw it, let's get them lined up. So let's get it there. Oh, and I'm on the wrong line. So let's go any empty square 8. Come over here, hit the Z key. It will remove it and it'll put it back in your inventory. So let's go back to hotkey number 6. You go there. And let's grab our belts, which are number 7. We'll rotate it and then put our belts across there. So our ore is automatically going from the miners into our machine. Our machine is on the electrical grid. So let's configure this to rods. So it's automatically going to start making us rods. So now we have rods being made and we have plates being made. Now I do want to fill this in, and we are out of bases, so we're going to wait for some rods. You have a bunch of ore I can steal. You have a bunch of ore I can steal. So I'm going to steal this ore. And we're going to come back over here. We're going to drop it back into here. We're going to still be doing handcrafting for a while as well. Let's come down here and grab our plates. We have 73, so let's grab those. Come back over here. Let's fill in. Let's craft some more of these floors. What did that give us? 25. That may be enough for now. Hotkey number 2. Yeah, let's just fill that one slot in. So eventually we're going to have, another set of drones. Pretty much we'll have like 4 or 5 of those drone miners surrounding this ore pile. And this ore pile is not infinite. It does run out. Alright, so let's get this guy out of the way. Oop, I didn't want the map. Let's top this off with biomass, even though it's got 93 in it. So we got our first bit of assembly going on. So let's get rid of this guy. Let's Get rid of this guy. Let's check our biomass burner. It has 78 in it. We'll just top it off. Now I want to make a little bit more room, so while we're waiting for parts being made, let's make ourselves some more room to walk around here. Now eventually I'm going to have to destroy some of this dirt until we can build a chest for it, if my inventory slots fill up. And then let's get this one out of the way as well. So far there are no enemies in the game. I don't know if the devs plan on putting enemies in the game or not. So you don't have to worry about getting your butt eaten. So let's grab those 53 plates. Let's grab the rods that are in here, and we'll throw in any more ore that we have, which we don't have. So let's reset the task to plates, and we'll see if we have any more ore to put in. Yeah, so let's switch that over to plates. Let's come over here. We will grab the rods that we need. Now we're gonna have to find, and I wish it wasn't dark, but we're gonna have to find a spot for our research lab. Now I don't want a research lab. Let me pull up the map in between the two mines, because we're going to need to run some assembly machines and conveyor belts. So I want our research lab a little bit over to either the left or to the right. So let's turn opposite way. Let's go this way. And probably up here on this tier, we're going to want room for the research lab. And eventually we're going to have multiple research labs. I'm just going to make some room until it turns daylight. Because we're going to need a big flat area. So we may have to do some terraforming. We're going to need a ton of biomass anyway. So we still have plenty of room in our inventory. We're about where I want to be, but we're going to need a pretty big flat area, because these research labs are not small. So I don't know if I want to fill this in or take this dirt out to make this a flat area. May put the dirt back, and that'll get it out of our inventory. But I was hoping to do that more in the daylight. Alright, so we're turning daylight, and we'll get a better look at this land. Alright, so we're turning daylight, so let's come over here, and let's grab... Alright, so let's grab our plates. We'll grab what's in here. Eventually we'll get rid of this. Grab those. We'll throw any more raw ore in. So that's the last of our raw ore in our backpack. And let's grab the rods that are in here. And then I wanted to see where we're going to put our research in. Up on, yeah, somewhere in here. So let us, yeah, let's flatten this out a little bit. So for now, we're just going to create another just flat area to work on this level. And if our backpack gets full, we can just destroy some of the dirt. I think there's 4 levels of research, and I can't show them to you until we get the first research center built. Let's take out this row. Alright, so that's going to get us a flat area away from our mines. Let's see. Yeah, because we can add more dirt in here. We're going to build out on this level. Alright, so what do we need to build a research lab? Back to our crafting buildings. So we can build our research lab. Now, it's going to build the foundation for the research lab. Then we're going to have to feed material into it in order to actually build the research lab. And let me turn my crafting menu off a minute. So I want the control panel facing this way. So let's go back to our crafting menu. It's here. I'm going to right click it. Another information database is going to pop up. To advance and unlock new technologies, research is necessary. Some technologies are unlocked by finishing a construction site. So we'll get access to high voltage power just by building the research lab. And then start by crafting a research lab structures and place it in your desired position. So it's basically telling us we need this to go to advance. Now, I wish you can zoom out, but you can't. Now, I know that, so there's our loaders. I want my loaders facing our panels. I want to rotate this way. And I really wish you were able to zoom out and see this being placed a little bit better, but you can't. If I scroll my mouse wheel, I lose it. I'm going to throw it here for now and we'll see if that's in the position I want it. Yeah, because these are going to be our input ports for our conveyor belts. So this is where I want it, but let's get some of that dirt from our inventory. So I'm going to tab the hotbar 3, go to number 1, let's throw a little bit more dirt under there. And then this will eventually be like a doorway, I think. Let's come over here to the panel. So this needs, in order to build this, we need 200 Xeno Ferrite plates, 100 machinery parts, and 100 wire coil. Now we should have some of this in our inventory. We have almost enough of the plates. We may have enough of the rods. So let's go to Manage Inventory. Let's click plus 200, and we put 159 and 200 in. Let's click 200. So we don't have any machinery parts. We have to handcraft them. We have to handcraft wire coil. So we're missing, what is that, 41 plates. So let's go grab, let's empty our miners, or our assemblers. So let's grab those plates. Let's come to our one that we've been handcrafting on. We'll grab a couple plates in there, and I don't think I have any more raw ore in my inventory. I've got one, which isn't going to do us anything. And let's come over here, we'll grab the rods that are in here. So, alright, hold on, y'all. My mom is yelling. Give me 1 sec. Alright, y'all. I've got, I'm going to save this. I have the internet company here to change out my modem. So I'm going to exit to desktop. I'm going to throw you all, I'm going to get out of